Okay, guys, let's do this one more time. Take two. So, there's power in asking. And I'm going to take you guys back to let you guys know how I got really into asking. And it all came from Daddy. That's where it came from. So, just a little backstory I want to share with you guys. Growing up, when I was about 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer. And it was so severe until they had to remove his vocal cord. I can remember the cancer was so bad it went down into his shoulder, and they had to cut all down in his shoulder. He stayed in the hospital and rehab. He stayed away from home for about a whole entire year. So when he came back home, he wasn't able to talk. So I, as a baby, as a little girl, like I couldn't connect with that. Like, what happened to my daddy? He's not able to speak anymore. So we had to adjust to him just moving his lips and adjust to him writing notes. So that was maybe around 4 or 5, I think. And around 7 years old, he and my mom separated. They did not get a divorce, but they separated. And I think it was really hard for her to adjust that he had gone through what he had gone through. Plus, it was really hard for her to adjust to having 4 little babies, having to kind of work it like that. I mean, I don't know what caused her to leave, but I know, I guess it was a lot of stress. So Daddy stayed there and made sure that he was there for us. He did. He was amazing. And I've got to say this. It was tough for us, little babies trying to learn how to read Daddy's lips. And we didn't really know how to read that well on notes, right? That came later. But what I do remember, I remember him receiving a paycheck every month to take care of all 5 of us. And that paycheck was a little bit over $800 a month. Can you even imagine an $800 check to take care of 5 people, including him? So I can recall taking a bus everywhere. We didn't own a car. We just didn't have enough money to own a car. And the house we lived in wasn't in the best condition. We barely had food. My daddy, we were not on food stamps. He obviously didn't know that we could have gotten food stamps. He didn't know about that. Or either he just didn't apply. I know we didn't get food stamps. So you can imagine the stretch in trying to take care of all of us with just $800. So I can remember my daddy going to the grocery store, and he would come home with people in a car. And these would be people that he did not know. He obviously figured out a way to ask people he didn't know to bring him home with groceries, because he knew he couldn't bring all those bags home on a bus. Thank God that those were times he could get away with that. I wouldn't advise doing it now. But back then, he did. And people were not only just nice to bring him home, they would even help bring the groceries in the house. These are people he didn't know, that we didn't know, that he trusted to bring him home, because otherwise he wouldn't have managed to get home with groceries. Okay, the other thing that happened, I remember every first of the month, we would be so thrilled to get Burger King. Burger King was like everything to us. It was like the caviar for us, that we look forward to getting a Burger King once a month. My daddy was a chef by profession. He retired from the railroad, so he could really cook. He really could. He was the best cook. But I guess, he needed a break. We didn't have air conditioning in our house, so it was so hot in the house. Can you imagine? In the summertime, it was unbearable in that kitchen because we had no air throughout our house. So what Daddy would do, he would go throughout the neighborhood to try to find somebody to take him to Burger King, because he could have got a taxi cab, but by the time you pay a taxi cab, that eat into the little money you have. So he would ask neighbors to take him to Burger King so that we can have Burger King once a month. And it was like everything. We'd be so excited to sit there in the living room and eat our Burger King. Yes. So once again, Daddy was asking people for a ride. Everything we did, whether it's, everything, like we would take the bus. If we could just take a bus, we would. I can remember him asking people for a ride to the train station downtown, because since my daddy worked for the railroad, we could take a train for free, but we still needed to get to the train station. So he would ask neighbors for a ride to downtown so we can catch a train to Chicago. That's where our family lived. Even I can remember, because fast forward, I remember we didn't have a car to travel to a lot of places, so a lot of things got missed. Like I was in the band, for example, so I played my instrument in various games with Dad. I didn't get to go because we didn't have a car. So he missed all of that. But I also remember when I was at age 16, I got pregnant. And I can remember sitting in the bedroom and my water broke. And Daddy had to go and ask a neighbor to take me to the hospital. What I'm saying, what I'm doing, as I explain all of this, I'm thinking about the power of asking. So my daddy knew that we needed, and he did not mind going out there asking for help. He always asked for help. You know, there were times that he didn't have enough money to take care of us with that $800. He would go and ask people, could he cut their grass? He would ask people, could he deliver their newspaper, sales paper at the stores? He would ask. He was always asking because he needed to bridge the gap to take care of us. So there is power in asking. So as I can remember watching my daddy, paying attention, how he would ask people he did not know pretty often. People loved my daddy. He was just like a magnet. He would draw people to him. They knew he had special needs. They knew he could not speak. They knew that he needed the help. But what if he didn't ask people for help? We wouldn't have had what we had. And we didn't have a lot. We had each other. But what if he did not ask? So that's where I get my power of asking from. So when I'm out and about, I don't care where I am, I'm always going to ask to see what I can do to help bless somebody with the opportunity to start Scentsy. I'm always going to ask somebody, have they tried the products, by sharing samples. There's power in asking. There's power in asking for referrals. There's power in asking people, can you help them with a fundraiser? There's so much power in asking, guys. You know how many lives you could change if you just ask? Everybody's not going to say yes. But somebody is. Somebody will say yes. One thing I do know is that the answer is always no if we don't ask. My daddy was never too proud to ask because he knew the only way we would get fed, the only way we would get what we had is that he had to ask. Because we grew up poor. We wouldn't have had any of the stuff we had my daddy not asked for help. He was always asking for help. I remember a little vegetable truck coming through our neighborhood. He didn't have enough money to buy the groceries off of this vegetable truck. So he asked the guy, could he pay later? He asked him, well, what was going to happen? The guy would say yes or no, right? So he asked the guy, could you allow me to get these and I'll pay you the first of the month? The guy set up an account for my daddy. He trusted him. So when people trust you, they will connect with you. So people connected with my daddy. Right now, so many people are telling me about my dad. He left an impression because people trusted him. If he said he was going to do something, he did it. My daddy was such a great cook. I remember my elementary school, Daddy would go there to cook cinnamon rolls. So he went and asked him, could he do it? What if he hadn't asked? My daddy wasn't employed by the Board of Education. He just asked, could he make cinnamon rolls just so he could make a little money on the side? I remember that as a little girl. So there's power in asking. In the situations where you think that somebody's going to say no, guys, sometimes you're going to get a yes. I have been so blessed to receive what I received in this business because of asking. I've asked for help. I've asked for situations where people can be blessed by what we have what we have to offer because I've asked. If you don't ask, Somebody else will. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And it just occurred to me like, that's where you get that asking from. Guys, this is why I've been very successful with my sales. This is why I've been very successful with getting people to join, because all I do is ask and share and celebrate. That's it, guys. It is not anything magical about that. It's just a matter of taking action. That's it. If you don't take action, if you don't do the things, guys, the answer is always no. It is not complex at all. I know a lot of people fear the word no. What I fear, guys, is not being able to eat. That's what I fear. I fear not being able to pay my bills. I fear not being able to set myself up to have a decent retirement. That's what I fear. I don't fear anybody telling me no. So what is your why? What is your goal? Guys, this is simple. What is your why? What is your goal? And all of us are busy. But there's a reason why you're here. I just wanted to share this little story with you guys because it just hit me like that's where I get it from. My daddy was my coach and my mentor, my inspiration. He was my everything. He would be so proud of me right now because I paid attention. Just like I watched my daddy do those things that he did. Your kids are watching you. And they're going to pick up the things that you're doing. My kids are doing the same thing. My kids watch me. And that's why my kids are go-getters. They are. My kids are go-getters because they watch me. They know how I am not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid to receive the word no. I'm not. I'm going to keep asking until I get a yes because somebody's going to say yes. I just wanted to share this story with you guys because this is amazing. You are amazing. You got to know that. You got to believe it. So now I want you to go out there and be great. Be amazing, just like you are. Love you guys. Bye.